And good morning, everyone, and welcome back. This is the Ask an Apprentice session, and we're talking to BAE Systems apprentices here today. So Heidi Molden, who was in our previous session, is going to give us a quick 5-minute presentation before we start, and then we'll be talking to Lizzie Barr, Ruzina Jones, and Amelia Weaver about their experiences as apprentices at BAE Systems. And it'd be great to see you. So over to you, Heidi. Thank you.
I'll just share my screen. Everyone see that okay? Yeah. Okay, so morning everyone. My name's Heidi. I work in the graduate and apprentice recruitment team here at BAE Systems. So just a 5-minute introduction really to what opportunities we've currently got available, how to apply and what the deadline is and what you need to have basically to be eligible to apply. So hopefully this will be quite interesting to you if you're really interested in an opportunity for this next time, or if you're just looking at what your options are. Hopefully it'll give you some just good information. Okay, so a bit about what we do as a company. So you may know quite a lot about BAE Systems, you may know a little, or you may not know anything about BAE Systems, which is absolutely fine either way. So as a company, we serve, supply and protect those who serve and protect us. So we have a variety of business units here at BAE Systems. We have the submarines business, the air business, land, maritime services, electronic systems, shared services. So we've a wide variety of work we do, really good work we do, on not just creating the products to equip our military, but also the services we deliver and support as well. As you'll be aware, technology is fast advancing every year. We kind of move through life. So it's a really, really exciting opportunity to be part of BAE Systems. As technology is advancing, the company's really working hard on moving with the times and working and being involved in that future forward-facing technology. So as a company, we've got a culture that values diversity, rewards integrity and merit, and is a place where everyone has the opportunity to fulfill their potential, no matter what background you may have. So please don't think that whatever your background is and wherever you come from, your experience so far stops you from applying for BAE Systems. We really, really value a diverse workforce, and we're here also to support you in that work, that apprenticeship journey. We support you in the company, but also through the recruitment processes as well. So if someone might need additional support through their career or an application process, that we're here to support you in that. So please, if you do submit an application, please just speak up and we will support you through that journey. So as you can see, we've got a workforce of nearly 90,000 people in more than 40 countries. So a significant amount of people that work for us as a company in worldwide, really. So however, thinking about that, working for BAE Systems in whatever role you work in, you're really supported, you're able to flourish, you developed not only in what you do, but as a person as well through behaviours. So it's a really, really good company to work for, no matter how you come into the company and kind of where you get to. So we're committed to nurturing that talent, developing highly skilled colleagues and empowering people to drive innovation and solving complex challenges. So as I'll talk through in this short presentation about the opportunities we've got available, with apprenticeship opportunities, we're not looking that you've already got those skills to fulfill a role. We're looking for people that have the passion, the drive, the motivation, the potential for us to support you in that learning and academic and journey of experience of work to come out of that apprenticeship into a role in the company, all being well. So what we have available, so we have 4 different levels of apprenticeships, and we also have undergraduate and graduate opportunities as well. All the details are on the website of the roles we have got available, but we do offer quite a wide opportunity net really in our apprenticeship opportunities. So as you can see on the screen in front of you, we are UK-wide, so you can see that we're right up in Glasgow, right down to Christchurch and Cowes. So again, the hopefully these opportunities either where you may live, where you want to work, or people might also want to think about a relocation. So we have quite a good variety of locations available as well. So in regards to BAE Systems, whether you come in as an apprentice or you come as a kind of a direct role or a graduate, undergraduate, it's really important. It's not just what we do, but it's how we do it as well. So we really focus on the behaviours. We help you develop your behaviours through your role, whether it's an apprenticeship or a direct role, as well as your academic studies. So looking at your soft skills as well. So that's really, really good to think about, that you wouldn't be coming just to learn a job and getting paid for it. We would really help develop you as a person as well, which would stand you in good stead for whatever career and journey you take in life anyway. So in terms of our opportunities available at the moment, so we're currently recruiting for our 2022 intake, with the application window currently open and closing on the 28th of February, so just over 2 weeks away to that deadline. So the numbers actually slightly changed. We're now actually recruiting around 900 apprentice opportunities for the 2022 intake. So we've got a wide variety of opportunities available across the 4 different levels I mentioned earlier, in a wide variety of business and engineering roles as well. So if you visit the BAE Systems website or early careers page, it will detail all the roles we've currently got available. It will include by role, the location it's based at, probably really important for everyone what you get paid as a starting point, and the qualification entry criteria you need to meet to be eligible for that role. So in terms of the application process, you submit an application through the website. We screen your application against the qualifications that we've asked you to meet as part of that entry criteria. If successful, you then complete online assessments in the terms of gamification and on-demand video interview. And then if you're successful at that point, you would then be invited to a live interview. And that may either be a virtual live video interview or it may be face-to-face. All being well at the end of that, if you've got through the process and done really well, then what we would do is look to offer you a position onto our apprenticeship opportunity. And that would either start between August and October. But again, on the website are our details of our roles available. That details the start date of each role as well, so you can see that information. So just important dates to mention, we do have the closing date fast approaching. However, the application form to submit is quite a short application form. It's asking you for details around your qualifications, your skills and your work experience. So whilst I would really encourage you, if you are interested, to submit that application as soon as possible, you also do have the time still to just take your time over it. So you can start an application and you can take a couple of days and just think, have you got everything you really want to put in there on that application before you press submit? It is an online system, so much of the communication does come to you via email, whilst we will as a recruitment team try and pick the phone up as much as we can to you due to the nature of the roles we're recruiting, the amount of roles and the amount of applicants. Quite a few of the communication and process requests come via email. So it was an ask, if you do submit an application, please just make sure you monitor your email account regularly. Because I would hate you to be really driven and submit an application and then just miss an email, and unfortunately it means you've been withdrawn from the process. So as you can see on the screen in front of you, it just talks about the different kind of the timeline. So you'd apply by the end of February. If you're successful to reach the interview stage, the later interview stage, that would be middle to end of March. With hopefully, if you're successful to receive an offer, that be notified around the May time, with a start date looking around the August-October time. So I appreciate that's been quite a quick bit of knowledge around what we offer here at BAE Systems. If you do have a question, please visit the website. It is a big website, but there's a lot of really good information on there by role of what we've got available. And it also has the details for our recruitment team on there. So you can either pick up the telephone or you can send an email with any query you've got, and we will try and equip you with the knowledge you need to apply to BAE Systems. Thank you, and that's it from me. Thank you. Appreciate that's quite a whistle-stop tour. And back over to Elizabeth.
Sorry, I'm just trying. I've got some technical issues in the other session, so bear with me just one moment.
That's okay. I can talk a bit longer if you want. You deal with that anyway. So whether you are thinking about an apprenticeship opportunity this time, or whether you're just trying to see what opportunities are out there, please visit the website. So anyone that's thinking about an apprenticeship opportunity, there's no kind of age restriction as such. There's entry criteria in terms of qualifications. So as long as you've got that entry criteria in terms of qualifications to meet that role, then you are eligible to apply. If you are in currently the kind of last year 11 of school, then that would also make you eligible to apply if you've got the predicted grades for a role. So you can actually apply for a 2022 opportunity now before the closing date on the 28th of February, as long as you would be due to achieve your GCSE or equivalent qualifications at the grade required in August this year prior to starting. So that's just a bit of extra information out there for you. But like I said, if there is any queries, please just get in touch with the recruitment team and we'll be more than happy to try and answer them for you.
Hello, sorry about that. We had difficulties trying to go live with the other session, and I was the person who was able to do that. And so sorry about the slight double feed, and then I couldn't work out how to turn that off here. So thank you very, very much, Heidi, for your presentation there. And it's now my pleasure to bring on Lizzie Barr, Amelia Weaver, and Ruzina Jones, who are the current apprentices working at BAE Systems. So Amelia and Ruzina, if you'd like to put on your cameras, that would be great. So Lizzie, you're just about to graduate from your apprenticeship. So can you tell me a little bit about who you are, what's your current role, and how far you've come?
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. So hi, as was said there, I'm Lizzie Barr. I'm a final year aerospace engineering degree apprentice, which is still a bit weird to say. So I joined BAE Systems straight out of sixth form. I kind of knew I didn't want to go to university because I didn't think I could deal with the lack of structure. And only sort of last minute around this time, 5 years ago, found out about apprenticeships as an option. It was never really made aware to me through education that apprenticeships were an option, and I found the one at BAE Systems, and I've always been a bit of a plane nerd, for want of a better word. So it just appealed to me massively. I'd always wanted to be a pilot, so can't quite do that because I'm a little bit blind, but the second best thing is working with the aircraft that I could have flown in the RAF if I was less blind. So yeah.
Excellent. And Amelia, I understand you've got a little bit of a presentation to show us about you and your journey into becoming a BAE apprentice.
Yeah, I'll share that now. Please let me know when it comes through, if that's okay.
What I can see is thanks for using. Oh, there we go. We can see you.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay. So my name's Amelia Weaver. I'm a technician apprentice. So currently I'm in my second year. I started in January 2021, and my first year was spent at the Academy for Skills and Knowledge at Samlesbury, where we learnt sort of the fundamentals of engineering. And the second year onwards is spent within the business, where we do a series of placements. So why I decided to do an apprenticeship, sort of the same as Lizzie. I am a plane nerd myself. I've always been fascinated by aircraft since a young age, and my dad took me to my very first air show. And at the time, my dad worked on the Eurofighter Typhoon aircraft, and I said, which one's yours, Dad? And then he said, "You'll hear it, trust me." And then the loudest, fastest aircraft flew by, and I was like, "Yep, I'm going to work with that. That is where I want to go into." So I remember joining Air Cadets the very next day and being fascinated by aircraft ever since. So I went on to pick engineering-based subjects at college, and I went on the BAE Engineering Taste Week. And this is where I knew BAE Systems was the right place for me, and I knew I wanted to pursue a career, where I could work with these amazing aircraft every day. So I decided to pick an apprenticeship over going to university, as an apprenticeship will allow me to be hands-on and explore and develop invaluable skills and behaviours that build a strong future with BAE Systems. And I'm also gaining qualifications whilst earning a competitive salary, so that is definitely a good bonus. So a day in the life of an apprentice consists of getting involved with cutting edge technology and getting to work with some of the UK's most exciting programmes, such as the Tempest. So I'm currently in sensing technology, which is a really exciting part of BAE Systems work, actually, and something that I've really enjoyed getting to grips with. And just one thing that blows my mind is that I'm developing these skills I need for the future, whilst earning a salary. I'm doing a job I'm passionate about and getting paid for it. So how have I developed? I can confidently say that Outward Bound is one of the proudest moments I've achieved so far. So within the Outward Bound, it's essentially a development week that is a part of the apprenticeship, where we do a series of outdoor activities to develop our behaviours personally and within work. And so we did like cliff jumping, scrambling, orienteering, camping, raft building, etc. So my favourite activity was raft building. So we had to be creative and manage our time effectively during this task. And we had to build a raft. So finally seeing this raft built and having a successful launch and paddling on this raft around this lake, made the team and I really, really proud of each other. So we had designed, built and launched a successful product while meeting time requirements and adhering to costs, which is all what the business is looking for. So just to finally finish up, I just want to finish up by saying get involved with STEM. Allows you to work on some incredible projects and STEM is so diverse. So there's definitely an opportunity for you. And the best part is you don't even have to come from a STEM background to go into an apprenticeship. So that's all from me.
Thank you very much, Amelia. That sounds really exciting. And Ruzina, can you let us know how you became an engineering apprentice at BAE Systems?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a DevOps apprentice, so that's like a combination of working with software as well as cloud platforms. Really, how I became an apprentice within BAE, I saw the opportunity last year and I just couldn't pass it up. It's a very niche area, and I really just wanted to get hands-on experience doing something I love and working towards a higher level of qualification as well. So the apprenticeship allows you to get involved with cutting edge technology. So within software, you kind of have to stay up to date in your spare time as well, because it can become quite competitive. Whereas you have the opportunity to work on various projects, which allows you to work with modern technologies, which is pretty cool. Um, yeah, and that's about it from the software side. Y- you'll always be challenged. You're forever learning, whether you're not an apprentice or you are an apprentice. Um, yeah. Sorry,
That's
Amelia. I mean, Elizabeth, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, so that I think that's fascinating that you've all come from these backgrounds and decided to become an apprentice. And Lizzie in particular, you know, that whole desire to not go to university but to be earning, as Rosina said, Amelia said, a competitive salary and all these opportunities. So what was it about BAE Systems that appealed to all of you rather than say another organisation? I think, well, Amelia, you said it was the Tempest and you were there, and Lizzie, you were saying it was your being a plane nerd. So Rosina, what was it for you?
To work with BAE, it was just
Yeah.
so it was just the chance to work on those fantastic opportunities. What we do is very, very important. And it was just really to get involved in the national security side of things, and expanding and advancing within that area.
So Lizzie, what does your typical day look like?
So my days change depending on what day of the week I wake up on, in all honesty. I currently work in aircrew training and simulation systems, which basically means that I play with flight simulators for a living and get paid for it. So a flight simulator is like a big computer game that's used to train pilots. It's quite high tech. Um, so some days I'll be sat on the devices all day, either operating it as a pilot or as an instructor operator. So putting emergencies on or dealing with stuff like that. I do a lot of requirements management as well. So I get to see our products develop alongside the live aircraft program, from almost the whole way through the life cycle, really, from initial requirement setting, working with suppliers, working with the customer, and looking at acceptance as well. But as part of my apprenticeship, I am studying for my bachelor's in engineering, in aerospace engineering. So one day a week, I do day release to go to university and do my university studies, which it's a lot, but I'm really lucky to have had a lot of support through it from the college, from work, from my managers, and I always know that there's people around to help me if I'm stuck on a particular subject. I know, as an example, we did like a systems control module at uni that I couldn't get my head around. But luckily, I work with a bunch of systems engineers who sat me down for an hour and taught me through things, and I came out with a pretty decent grade in that module. So it's really nice to be able to make those direct links straight away between your education and your work life and how you apply it to the products that we see flying around.
That's great. And Rosina, do you get that level of support and training and development as well?
Yes, so similar to Lizzie, we worked with an external training provider. So we had a boot camp period which lasted over 14 weeks before being placed on projects within the business. It's an ongoing sort of program, so we get day-to-day support from our peers, but we also go through specific programs and courses through the business as well to help us achieve that qualification. It is an 18-month program, and all of it, due to COVID, it's all been delivered remotely, like virtually. And there will be an exam at the end of it, as well as a little project where you'd create some application to pass that assessment stage.
Sounds great. Amelia, what's your typical day like? Is it like Lizzie? Is it different every day?
Yeah, the best part about my placement is there are so many projects going on all the time. So every day is completely different. One day I'll be focusing on one project, and the next day I'll be traveling up to Scotland to go and see another project in person, which is what's happening next week. And, you know, things like that all get paid for. You know, I'm getting paid to stay in a hotel and to go and see this project, and my meals paid for, and I'm doing what I love. So, you know, one day I'm traveling, the other day I'm doing research or meeting the team at Wharton, which is where I'm based. I'd meet the team and we'd go into the buildings and discuss other projects. You know, there's just so many things going on all the time. Or some days are a bit more laptop based and I'll be doing research, or just it really varies. There's no strict answer I can give you, which is a good thing in my opinion. You know, if you had sort of monotone days, I think that would sort of switch me off wanting to go on an apprenticeship, hence why I didn't go to university. I love how every day is different.
And I think that's the key thing about engineering, is that even at my level as running the business of the Women's Engineering Society, every day is different. So you're not doing exactly the same thing day in, day out, and that's really exciting. So what surprised you the most about your apprenticeship, Amelia?
I think it's how many opportunities there actually are. Like, I don't know if you noticed in the presentation, there's a long list of opportunities. And that's just a section of them. I was like, right, I can't really fit them all on. I'm not going to be able to read it because the writing's going to be too small. There's always something new all the time. You know, I'll go my emails and every day there's like, oh, do you want to apply for this, or do you want to do this? And it's like, wow, my calendar is full now. I've got so many different things I can work on to develop yourself, and not all of it as well is sort of really engineering related. For example, I got to go on BBC News Breakfast. Like, that is an amazing opportunity to develop my confidence. Like, I don't really have an excuse to not be able to do anything after that, after, you know, doing something nationwide. It's, you know, things that develop yourself in all different areas as well as engineering. So that's what shocked me the most.
Wow, that sounds brilliant. And Ruzina, what's made you, what have you done and look back on and thought, wow, maybe something that you didn't think you would ever do when you first started your apprenticeship?
So Elizabeth, a couple of weeks ago, actually, I completed a feature with very minimal supervision, and I thought that was a great time to kind of reflect back on the past 12 months. And it was a feature. It was quite a challenging feature, which I was able to do, and it was well received by the team and the clients, and it was just great because coming into this, I thought you don't realize how much you're actually learning. And I think with the apprenticeship, as Amelia and Lizzie have said, you get that hands-on experience and you can see your progress every day, in whether that's in like small increments, but with each deliverable you would see how you're doing. So yeah, just literally a couple of weeks ago, I just thought, wow, I was doing a boot camp program not so long ago, going through all these various technologies, and I've created this one feature which I was able to demo to the clients, and they absolutely loved it.
You're still an apprentice, but you're doing real live work that clients of BAE Systems are excited about. That's fantastic. And Lizzie, you're coming to the end of your degree apprenticeship this summer, I believe. So what does your future look like at the end of your degree?
Yeah, it's a little bit scary to not be an apprentice after 5 years of hard work. But I'm really lucky to have been offered a permanent job in the final placement that I've been in for the last year or so. So continuing working with flight simulators. One of my favorite things about having been an apprentice, especially in this last placement, is a lot of the time you're not treated any different. I just get handed tasks and get on with them. So I'm running some acceptance events for our new devices with the customer over the next 6 months, and hopefully that will go on for future releases. I'll be carrying on with sort of managing acceptance and yeah, just doing what I enjoy and doing what I love, to be honest.
So if you're doing things that actually are kind of real live that BAE is selling to their clients, or that you're doing something that's on a real project and not just a test or training, and how do you feel if you think something's going to go wrong? I mean, is there a huge pressure on you, or do you get support with that?
I feel like personally, a lot of the projects that I've worked on, despite them being, real life proper engineering work, it just feels like a project where it's okay to make mistakes. I've I've made a fair few mistakes in my 5 years, I'll tell you that for free. But I've always been supported by managers, by other apprentices, by my skills coach, who's an early careers member of staff who sort of looks after a group of apprentices, and just sort of we're kind of encouraged and empowered at every opportunity to try and make a decision. And then if it's the wrong decision, then we can take learning from it and we can move on and hopefully grow as people and as engineers going forward. So as long as I don't think about it too much and I don't panic, then usually it just feels like another day in the office, really.
Well, it sounds like your training and the preparation has been really good. Do you find that, Amelia, that if you're about to make a mistake, that actually it's kind of okay? Certainly, when I was working in engineering, it was somebody said if you didn't make a mistake, you'd never make anything because it's how we learn. Is that your experience?
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of like you feel more comfortable I feel more comfortable making mistakes now than I did in college. I'd be panicking for my exams. I'm like, I can't mess up, I need to get it, I need to be perfect, I need to get this grade or whatever. And then in your apprenticeship, it's like, right, you've made a mistake, what would you do next time? What could you do better? And or if someone in your team makes a mistake, you learn from them, so you won't do what they've done, and all of a sudden you grow into this amazing engineer because you've learned what not to do, and it's okay to make these mistakes and you're educated from them. And in fact, the more mistakes you make, I think the better engineer you become, in my opinion. And as Lizzie said, I've definitely made plenty of mistakes, but I've never once been penalised for them. In fact, you sort of not praised, but it's like you've learned from that. That's brilliant. What are we doing going forward?
So
And it's like,
what
oh, wow.
happened? What
Yeah.
went wrong? How do we fix it? How do we stop it
Yeah.
happening again and again? I think that's brilliant about engineering. And I think also the other thing, Ruzina, is it's all about teamwork. So you're not on your own. If you have done something that's not great, somebody's going to help you out. Is that your experience as well?
Yeah, especially within software, everything is trial and error. So you have to be quite a good problem solver within this career as you kind of progress. So getting that sort of team level support is something that you will expect, whether that's from someone senior within the team, whether that's a different stakeholder within the project itself. Never feel like you wouldn't get support. You will see that support being demonstrated on a day-to-day basis.
That's fantastic. I've got lots more questions for the panel, but I'd also like to open up the questions to our attendees. So somebody has already asked, what are the nearest sites to South Yorkshire? And Emily's very brilliant and put some locations in. But are any of you near South Yorkshire or in that kind of area?
We're probably not a million miles away over in Preston. I think it takes about 90 minutes to drive to Sheffield from where I am, roughly. So it depends whereabouts in South Yorkshire, I suppose. But we also have sites over in Brough on the Humber for BAE Systems there as well. And if you decide that a maintenance apprenticeship's something that you'd be interested in, that'll be over at Humberside Airport near Hull. That side of the Pennines, the wrong side.
Well, having grown up on the east side of the Pennines, I might consider the wrong side. But equally, my partner is from Lancashire, so we're a united household. And for those of you who are watching, there's a survey underneath the panel today to if you could take a minute to answer that. So just to ask you some more questions, what we've got is what do you think the challenges are with being a woman in engineering? And I've been asked this question myself many times, and I ask it a lot. But and I don't want this to put people off. I just think that where do you think that it might be a little bit difficult, and how have you overcome those challenges so that our audience know that it's going to be better for them? Amelia, do you want to start?
Yeah, I was going to say, in my opinion, the only challenge I've faced is that there aren't enough women. I, you know, I work with some amazing people. I'm not personally, if they're amazing people, that's all that matters to me. But I was the only girl in my group. So the only issue for me is I want more women. I want more people to come in because that I'm treated exactly the same as everybody else, and it's sort of annoying that there is this sort of stereotype of who an engineer is, and from being in the business, I get treated exactly the same as anybody else, and I just hope people can understand and feel comfortable coming into the business, thinking, yeah, I'll get treated the same. There's no problem with being a
Get
woman
the
in
same
engineering. Yeah,
respect and
yeah,
expectations.
for
Like you're
sure.
not expected to do anything less. Ruzina,
No.
what's your experience as well?
It,
Challenges for you?
it can feel rather male dominated. It is quite a common issue within software. But because of these programs, it allows a diverse range of people from different backgrounds, that non-traditional backgrounds, even that don't come from a computing sort of side. It allows them to kind of get involved in the engineering space. I must add, even though it can feel rather male dominated, you're not treated any differently. Like you're given the same opportunities, and you're treated with the same level of respect as your male co-workers. Yeah, in terms of challenges, I can't say I've felt any sort of discrimination being a female in engineering. Sometimes it can be, it's just as Amelia said, you don't see many female engineers. So yeah, it'd be quite nice to be on projects with, other female
Different
engineers
women.
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lizzie, have you faced challenges?
I think I have. I would say that I feel like a lot of the challenges that I've faced through my apprenticeship as a female are somewhat self-imposed. Going through education and stuff, I was good at science. So everyone was like, oh, you can go and do a science degree, or you can go and be a science teacher. And the word engineer never came up. My mum was an engineer, so I learned very quickly that, it was a case of go in, stand your ground, make some noise, and people will listen to you, which seems to have worked so far for me. But just to echo again, there's just not enough of us kicking about. At least 3 or 4 of my placements, I've been the only female, and I'm really lucky now that my team that I work in now, the females outweigh the males, which is the first time that's ever happened, to me anyway. But yeah, there's just a lot of maybe sort of self-imposed, maybe general societal, almost surprise at a female being an engineer. I know when I introduced myself as an engineer, covered in piercings and tattoos as I am, a lot of people go, really? Really? That's what you do? And it's kind of helped me in a way to become more confident and a little bit more brash about myself, in all honesty. I'm happy to stick my hand up, say what I do, and explain it, and I know that I've got the knowledge and the experience to back it up because of my apprenticeship. So that's really good.
Yeah, and that's largely why we're hosting this Apprentice Showcase today. And we hope we're going to do some more, later in the year and maybe next year as well, because we want to show that women can be apprentices, can be engineers and do very well. We don't often see engineers on television or in other discussions. And we don't often, I think some of it's because we don't study engineering at school unless you do CDT or whatever they call it nowadays. So that therefore it's not a lot of people don't know about the opportunities and don't know that it's really a good career for women. So we've had a couple of questions in the chat. Nathan, just when you put your camera and mic on, so that if anyone's got any questions that you can answer, then we'll bring you in. So for each of you, what's the most rewarding part of doing engineering? Amelia, do you want to start?
That's a tricky question. How long have we got?
I'll
It's
give you a couple of minutes.
there's, as I said, there's just so many opportunities. Personally, I've only been here a year, and my confidence now is through the roof. The soft skills I've developed, I can talk to people so easily. Now, I used to ring them up because of COVID. You'd ring them up and you'd be nervous because there's some higher up people you talk to, and all you can see is a profile picture. And I am just so much more confident now, and how much more creative in the way that my mind works now as an engineer, because I feel so comfortable making these mistakes. I'm starting to think a lot more like an engineer now, and there's skills that I wouldn't have developed if I didn't have an apprenticeship. Say if I got picked engineering at uni, I wouldn't have been supported to make these, develop these behaviours and develop this mindset that BAE sort of has built for me.
Fantastic. And Ruzina, what's been the highlight for you? What's been the most rewarding thing about your career?
Just working with really smart people. Also, you really find your people, like, I don't know, it's quite cheesy, but you're involved in this small knit of this engineering community. And, like, if you thought, like, if you're on Reddit or such, and you follow, like, I don't know, some software sort of subreddits, you can really relate. It's not just inside work, it's outside of work. There's so many things that are going on, and you really feel, I don't know, you've met your people when you share that passion and love for something. And like I said, and you have that opportunity to work with some very intelligent, smart people, which you can learn from and grow from as an individual as well.
Yeah, I love doing software engineering, which I did for a long time. And and the great thing is when you get a new platform like this, the mistakes happen. It's actually when you've been a software engineer, you can go in and have a little bit of poke around, just think, oh, I think this might work, and you can try it. And then often it does, which I think it's a really great help. So Lizzie, what's the most rewarding thing about your career so far?
I think probably, I mean, I could talk for hours about this, like Amelia said, but I think probably being able to see the products that I've worked on sort of realised and come to life. The thing that I've sort of learned over the past couple of years is there's no small part of engineering. You're there to do a job and you're affecting the end product, which is really nice to see, especially in an aerospace world when your aircraft flies. I was lucky enough to work on the Phaser 35 solar high altitude long endurance remotely piloted aircraft for a little while on secondment. And in doing that, I came back and a lot of the work that I'd done had gone onto the aircraft, which then went out and flew and started breaking records and things like that. And it's just really nice knowing that you're a part of something, and I guess knowing that you found your tribe, like Ruzina said. But yeah.
That's fantastic. So we had a question from Faye about how long does the apprenticeship last, which has been answered by Emily, who's in the Hubalo platform. Typically, our apprenticeships are between 2 and 5 years, depending on the level of qualification you're working towards, and you'll find the exact length of the chosen apprenticeship in the role description on the search pages. So the next question is, can we have the email address to the apprentices? I don't think that's possible because BAE Systems is such a secure organisation, but there is a general email address, which I'm sure somebody will put into the chat so that you can contact them there. And Ruby said, have you ever faced discrimination from men at work? Ruzina?
No. I didn't. No, you're treated the same. You have the same, you possess the same skill, you possess the same knowledge. And if anything, you're not discriminated. People will come to you, ask you for your take on something, like say for instance, if they're struggling with a problem, sometimes people pick your brains to debug issues. So if anything, you don't face discrimination. I think on a day-to-day basis, you do feel like you're a peer because people pick your brains, and I don't know how to explain it. Don't feel put off by the fact that it's male dominated. You don't feel that on a day-to-day basis. I hope that answers your question.
I've got
And-
something else to add on that as well, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the photo that I put in the PowerPoint. It was all of us stood on the outward bound trip with our arms crossed. I was the shortest person there, and I was one of the only girls there. And my team decided to make me the team leader. And I was like, there was, 12 of us, and I was one of the only girls. So I definitely, as Lizzie said, you sort of go in, if you stand your ground and you sort of show your confidence, then you'll have, they'll be like, wow, she's good. So I wasn't discriminated. In fact, they were like, yeah, we want Amelia to be the team leader. She knows what she's doing. And they were all willing to listen to me. Like everybody just listened to me, and then we got this raft and we built it and we won. And I was the only girl, and I was like, oh, leading a group of guys, what's this going to be like? They all had plenty of respect for me, and they all helped me out and supported me, and which helped us win.
Great. Sounds like they chose the right person to be their leader.
Yeah,
So there's plenty of leadership opportunities for those who want to join. And Lizzie, you strike me as a natural leader. Have you been selected as leader or spokesperson in your teams?
Yeah, I mean, I have quite a loud voice, so a lot of times it makes it quite easy for, I guess, other people to step back and just let me do the talking. But I know, you know, through my apprenticeship, I've been sort of empowered to do a lot of volunteering work, partially with the Women's Engineering Society, as you well know. So it's as part of that, I got elected to be chair of the Apprentice board, which was really nice because nobody had ever met anybody before. We'd all basically just done a little write-up saying, why we think we'd be good, and I got elected to the role of chair because of my background. I've done in my work at the moment, I'm sort of taking the lead, like I say, on some acceptance events. So that's basically taken me to speaking to some quite high up people in the business and in the RAF, and almost telling them what's going to happen. So setting out my plan, making sure that we take on feedback, managing stakeholders and things like that, and as well as feeding back to my manager, who's kind of just left me to run with it and do things. So I think a lot of the time, once you get a little bit of the confidence, which is obvious in Amelia and Ruzina after even a year, once that's built up, you start almost falling into leadership roles without thinking about it because you know what you're on about, which is always nice.
Excellent. You've been a great chair of our apprentice board, and we're going to miss you when you go. But very, very good luck for your career in the future. And just as a final question, because we've only got a couple of minutes, so be very brief. Why would you encourage the girls and watching to go and do an apprenticeship? Ruzina.
It's very fulfilling, and there's so many different avenues you could go down. To say, for instance, within engineering, if you don't like one particular area, you always have that opportunity to try out different parts of engineering. You're not pigeonholed within just that. Whereas with, I know it's quite biased, but with like non-STEM related sort of positions, I feel like you're kind of pigeonholed to do that for a very long time. And speaking from personal experience, I don't come from a sort of STEM related sort of background. I did admin a few years ago, and it became quite, what's a nicer way to say, not boring, but it's not very challenging, and you're kind of stuck in that area. Whereas with engineering, you have so many different opportunities, and yeah, I don't know. For me, I'd say go for it because it is so rewarding, and if you love if you love learning, it's the perfect fit.
That sounds fantastic, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to ask all of you, but that's a really brilliant way to end this session. You know, that if you don't want a boring job and you really want to get stuck into something and be respected, take on leadership qualities, be working on real life projects when you're really quite early in your career, I think an apprenticeship is for you. Thank you so much for your attendance and for your presentations. We wish you all the very best in your future careers. And to those of you listening, I'd like to say thank you for your attention. We have another 15 minutes until the whole of the end of this conference, and you've got the booths and the lounges to go to for the next 15 minutes. In the meantime, for those of you who've never thought about considering an apprenticeship, I do hope that that's something that you're going to be looking at and enjoying in the future. Thank you very much.